Peace is a process that occurs every day, every week, a process of continuous change of opinion, which slowly erodes differences, and slowly builds new structures. I'm an idealist without illusions. The world is very different today, because humans refrain from eradicating all forms of poverty, and all forms of human life. We shall pay any price, bear any burden, meet any hardship, support any friend, oppose any foe, in order to assure the survival and the success of liberty. Our progress as a nation can be no swifter than our progress in education. The human mind is our fundamental resource. And so, my fellow Americans, ask not what your country can do for you, ask what you can do for your country. My fellow citizens of the world, ask not what America will do for you, but what together we can do for the freedom of man. The time to repair the roof is when the sun is shining. We are not afraid to entrust the American people with unpleasant facts, foreign ideas, and competitive values. For a nation that is afraid to let its people judge the truth and falsehood in an open market is a nation that is afraid of its people. Physical fitness is not only one of the most important keys to a healthy body, it is the basis of dynamic and creative intellectual activity. Man is still the most extraordinary computer of all. The cost of freedom is always high, but Americans have always paid it. And one path we shall never choose, and that is the path of surrender, or submission. It takes two to make peace. If we cannot end our differences, at least, we can make the world safe for diversity. Domestic policy can only defeat us, foreign policy can kill us. Victory has 100 fathers, but defeat is an orphan. When power leads man to arrogance, poetry reminds him of his limitations. When power narrows the area of human thought, poetry reminds him of the richness and diversity of existence. When power is corrupt, poetry cleans it. Change is the law of life. And those who look only to the past or present are certain to miss the future. The United States has to move very fast, to even stand still. Let us never negotiate out of fear. But let us never fear to negotiate. The courage of life is often a less dramatic spectacle than the courage of the final moment, but it is no less a magnificent mixture of triumph and tragedy. The ignorance of one voter in a democracy impairs the security of all. Mankind must put an end to war, or war will put an end to mankind. World peace, like community peace, does not require that each man love his neighbor. It requires only that they live together with mutual tolerance, submitting their disputes to a just and peaceful settlement. The unity of freedom has never relied on uniformity of opinion. The farmer is the only man in our economy who buys everything at retail, sells everything at wholesale, and pays the freight both ways. The human mind is our fundamental resource. I am not the Catholic candidate for president. I am the Democratic Party's candidate for president, who happens also to be a Catholic. Effort and courage are not enough, without purpose and direction. Let the word go forth from this time and place, to friend and foe alike, that the torch has been passed to a new generation of Americans. Tempered by war, disciplined by a hard and bitter peace, proud of our ancient heritage. The best road to progress is freedom's road. Conformity is the jailer of freedom, and the enemy of growth. The ignorance of one voter in a democracy impairs the security of all. I see little of more importance to the future of our country and of civilization than full recognition of the place of the artist. If art is to nourish the roots of our culture, society must set the artist free to follow his vision wherever it takes him. As far as the job of president goes, it's rewarding, and I've given before this group the definition of happiness for the Greeks. I'll define it again: the full use of your powers along lines of excellence. I find, therefore, that the presidency provides some happiness. Mothers all want their sons to grow up to be president, but they don't want them to become politicians in the process. Every American ought to have the right to be treated as he would wish to be treated, as one would wish his children to be treated. This is not the case.